All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I know many of you are joining us from lots of different places, Facebook, from Google, from YouTube. It's incredible the response that we've been getting, and just appreciate everybody that is visiting here. My name is Mark Stepp, and we're going to go over the core strategies. This is the core strategies webinar in creating predictability in your real estate business and really grow like a pro. We want to make sure that as you are doing things within your business, that you are doing the proper things so that you're growing your business the right way. The question becomes really, how do you develop predictability in your business without sacrificing precious time? We want to be able to do as much to build predictability into our business. And how do we do that without taking so much time away from our families or from the events that we want to do? The precious time can be different for different people. Some people, it may be golfing. Some people, maybe tennis. A lot of people, it's just a matter of spending more time with their family and friends and being able to, just kick back and relax at times. So that's what we want to really accomplish here. My name is Mark Stepp. I am the creator of Workflow Secrets. And what we want to do is take the next 60 minutes and look at what you're going to learn here is just how to take your business to the next level. My exact strategies for doubling, tripling the number of closings that you do each and every month. And it's without sacrificing that precious time, without working insane hours that I know many agents do, and without reducing the time in one area of your business and giving it to another. That's how a lot of fluctuation happens. What I call the Robin Hood practice, where you're stealing from one area and giving to another. You reduces that predictability because you're taking from one place and giving to another. And you need what we're calling this core strategies to keep everything rolling smoothly. Going from what could be like a roller coaster where it's going up and down all the time, and flattening those tracks so it's more of a train and it's just a constant flow. Now, you're still going to have some ups and downs, but it's not a matter of major changes that many agents actually see all the time. And the question becomes, who is this webinar for? And if you are the person that looks at this and says, I want to be able to create predictability in my business, this is for you. Do you want to scale your business? And scaling means different things to different people. Some people want to do the same amount of work, but actually get more done. Some people would like to get the same amount of business, but do it in less time. And scaling can be done either way. Are you that type of person? Do you want to get off that roller coaster, that income fast or famine process, going through these ups and downs that just constantly happen, and we'll get you through those as well. The biggest question is, do you ever think to yourself, there must be a better way of doing business? And that's really what it comes down to, is doing business differently than you've been taught. What I want to do is I need you to stay to the end of this. We're going to show a lot of information. We've got some secrets, some links, some things that we're going to give you at the end, but we need you to stay to the end. And what's really important right now is that you get out of your email, get out of Twitter, unless you're watching us on it, turn off your cell phones or put them in airplane mode. Give me your undivided attention for the next 57 minutes and grab a pen, paper, and let's take some notes. Now, I know there's lots of distractions all around us these days, but the strategies I'm going to be sharing with you can change your life. And I don't want you to miss a single crucial step. Make a commitment to yourself to stay focused while we're together today. So the question becomes, who am I and why am I qualified to even teach this? And what it comes down to is, I've been in this business for 31 years. I've done a lot of technology training and stuff. My background is in computer software. I've owned and co-owned 2 software companies for real estate agents. I've architected the RealVolve workflow platform from day one on it. Software engineer since '83 in different industries: real estate, lending, title, escrow, even insurance. And I'm the co-author and author of Workflow Secrets, and I just want to make sure that everybody gets this information. What it really comes down to, though, is that I have helped thousands of agents to automate and scale their business in real estate. And I've always wanted to make this so that we have more time with people that we love, that matter most to us. And in most cases, that's the family. So as we're developing our systems, as we're putting together things, it really comes down to making sure we've got systems in place to do things. And think about this. Can you imagine, just for a second, I just want you to get a mental picture of something, of you going home at a decent hour, spending time with your family and being present. Stop checking your phone, constantly worrying about things left undone. Can you actually see yourself maybe taking multiple extended vacations? Most agents don't. That's the crazy thing. Wouldn't it be nice just to be able to take off some time and spend it for yourself and your family? And what about just not panicking whenever your assistant says, hey, I need to take off some time? Maybe they're going to have a baby, or they just want to take a vacation themselves. And that panic that goes through your whole soul, it's like, I need you. I need somebody in place, and you're the only person that can do that. We want to get you out of that situation. We want to make sure that you are set up for success. So the question still becomes, how do you develop that predictability in your business without sacrificing precious time? Most agents will actually look for some kind of magic wand or magic bean or whatever it is to make themselves more productive. That productive part of their business is missing in most cases because they're so busy going from one thing to another, trying to catch up from the things that they needed to get done the day before. And it's just a constant state of chaos in all reality. Many agents have gone through looking for that magic wand, and maybe they built up sticky notes or checklists and put them in manila envelopes or folders, and trying to organize everything, putting things into Evernote and sharing that information, spreadsheets, and using Microsoft Office or Outlook and other CRM, the customer relationship managers that are out there. There's lots of tools out there. But what it comes down to is making sure that you're using the right tools. We are going to talk about the core strategies and bringing together the right tools that are needed to do this right. So let me give you some history about me and why I've got a vested interest in this. So back in 1990, I know a long time ago, I purchased this brand new Canon Zapshot, and I was so proud of this camera because it could put information on a little 2.5-inch floppy disk. The floppy disk then just inserted into the camera, and you could get like 50 photos on this. And I started thinking to myself, what could I create? What kind of software could I create? And for whom could I create it that would benefit from something like this? I mean, there's some really cool stuff out there, but being in the software development, I wanted to use it in some way. And so it really came down to figuring out what industry I wanted to spin. So I started thinking, and I put my mind, to the test and said, okay, I think real estate agents, because I'm always seeing their photos everywhere. I'm seeing pictures of houses, all the different things that real estate agents do. A lot of them deal with photos. So I thought to myself, let's do something with real estate. Problem was, I didn't have the slightest idea what real estate agents did. So I was speaking at a computer group meeting for engineers and developers. And at the end of that training, I just made an open statement. Anybody that knows anything about real estate, come talk to me. I need some information. And that's where I met Sherman Mitchell. Sherman came up to me and said, hey, Mark, I am not a real estate agent, but my wife is, my wife, Peggy. And you need to get with her. So come to find out, she was one of the top agents in the Midwest region, very well qualified. And we met and we started thinking about what could we do She gave me a lot of information about real estate industry, about agents' needs. And she developed a list of about 28 different things that we started building a software package on. And she was very excited about this. She wanted to be able to use this herself. So as we started developing it, we spent lots of time creating the different parts and pieces from that 28 item list. And I started thinking, and I asked Peggy, I said, Peggy, why is it that you're willing to help me on this? I mean, you're giving away some, pretty important things about how you do business. And she, like I said, she was one of the top agents in the Midwest region for a particular franchise. And I just said, why are you willing to help me on this? And she looked at me and she said, let me tell you a story. One weekend, it was a weekend that Sherman was not around. He was out on a business trip of some sort. And Peggy had been working through that week, lots of early mornings, late nights, long weekends. She came in late one night and expecting to find their daughter, Amber, asleep in bed. And she came in, she was going to kiss her goodnight, and Amber was not in the bed. She thought this is weird, starts looking around, went into the living room, down in the family room. She starts getting to a point where her heart's pounding. It's like, where is Amber? She's starting to get frantic. Should I call Sherman? What has happened? And she starts looking around, turning on all the lights in all the house. Finally, she goes into her own bedroom and flips on the light. And there she sees Amber's legs sticking out of the closet. She went down, scooped up Amber very quickly, luckily just finding her asleep. She said, Amber, why are you in my closet? Why are you here? And she goes, and she said, you scared me to death. And with Amber's eyes, sleepy eyes, just looked up at her mom and said, Mommy, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you. I was missing you and I came in to smell the perfume on your clothes. And when Peggy told me that story, it was more of a case of realization that there are people out there that are working so hard to provide for the people that they love, that they care dearly for, that sometimes they're doing the very thing that hurts them the most. They're actually sacrificing that precious time. And I saw that problem and I thought to myself, I can solve this problem. I can make it where we don't have to worry about it. So I figured out we needed better systems. We needed better processes. We need to build into what we were doing, that 28 item list, things that would help Peggy get home quicker, not just be more productive with a few things, but with a lot of things that actually makes them more productive. And this is where we started thinking about, there's systems out there. What are some of the systems that are out there? And we started looking at like McDonald's. McDonald's has, some very well-known systems. You can see that just knowing that they have high turnover in their business, but also very consistent in what they do. And that's what we're wanting to achieve, is consistency in business. And many of the people that McDonald's hires have no background in what they're doing. Typically, they're very young, but they've created a system in place and put it into place that is very repeatable and duplicatable and makes it so that every McDonald's that's put in place has the same system and produces the same quality burgers, whether you like them or not. Okay. It is something that that's important as far as McDonald's is having the systems. So we started building our own type systems. We called it the Task Series at the time. And we started building it and creating it from what Peggy wanted. But what we found out over time was, agents are different, that in many different ways. The processes are different. Even if an agent is in the same city, you might have different processes that they do. If you look at an agent in one country or another country, or even the different states, and we've got agents that I've helped from Canada and United States, UK and Australia, each one of them do their processes differently. So you can't have like McDonald's where everything is exactly the same. You need it so that it is flexible and customizable, but very, very powerful. And making sure that that power then um, is giving them the ability to be more productive. And that's where we ended up with the workflow platform. The workflow platform itself is what controls everything. Even though we have um, different types of systems out there, the databases, the for contacts, for properties and transactions, it's the workflow platform that brings it together. So I went from creating software for real estate agents to using a camera to actually helping real estate agents be more productive in the office and allowing more time with family. I mean, that's been my driving force now for 31 years. Now, after 31 years, I've actually found the hard way of doing it, but I want to show you the easy way. And that's really what we're going to be talking about today is the core strategies. I want to introduce those to you as the core strategies. We really want to go over 3 different secrets, and we're going to work on these 3 secrets using the core strategies to create that scalable business. Secret number 1 is systems. We've already talked about that. And that's system isn't really the secret. The secret is making sure that if you do anything more than once, make it a system. If you do anything more than once, make it a system. And that's not just dealing with your clients, but internal things as well. And where I learned this was spending time with Peggy. She actually worked in a developing subdivision that she was working with a builder, and they had like 4 model homes that they would show the properties, and just the processes that she needed in place to deal with the open houses and the follow-up. She was in a constant state of being unprepared, overwhelmed, disorganized in a lot of different ways because she didn't have systems in place to be able to handle everything. And back then, actually, there was, just not as many technology items that they had, but we started building those and we started putting them into place. The whole idea is making sure that whenever you have systems in place, you eliminate these elements of being unprepared, overwhelmed, disorganized, feeling behind in whatever you're doing, and just forgetful, because we are all forgetful as we do stuff. So whenever we talk about the core strategies, it's really a framework, and it's a framework of 4 elements, and it's an acronym for conversions. The C is conversions, the O is operations, R for retention, and E for experiences. And as you look at your business, as you see the things that you do repetitively and even some non-repetitively, they fall into these 4 core elements: the conversions, the operations, retention, and the experiences. What we want to do is, part of what we do is bring together all the different things that you do for, say, 2 to 3 weeks. Every time you do something, log it in and figuring out what you need to do. And then we organize them into these core groups. Once you do that, some of the agents have gone through and they've actually transferred those to a post-it note. You put in better description, you put in what it's more details about the things that you're doing and who does it in your team. If you've got a team, if you're just an individual agent, you might actually set it up for, if I had a team, who would be doing this. And then you take that and you actually design it. So there's a build section, there's a design section. And whenever you design it, it's actually a matter of visualizing your processes, visualizing what is it that I want to portray whenever I'm working with clients in either my leads, in the conversions, or in my operations with my listings or my closing processes. How can I give them that world-class service that all buyers and sellers would really love to have, and give it to them consistently? And as you put your sticky notes on a timeline, you can see where things should go. And if you've never done this before, you fly by the seat of your pants. That's part of that inconsistency. You may on one listing do something and on another listing you don't. And it's just because we forget. We don't have the systems in place, but we want to design these systems. And the core strategies actually works you through these processes, and you visualize it. So step one is really design your conversion systems. This is talking about your lead generations from your websites, your lead nurture, your open house nurture, all the different things where you're actually bringing in leads. And in many cases, you actually need to make them very specific down to the life cycle that they're in. You may have some renters. You may have some people that are getting their first starter home, or maybe they're moving up from a starter home. The people that are in these different life cycle stages need different information, and you can set up systems that deal with the different needs for that person based off of where they're at in that life cycle. And it's really important to design for that, and we can help you through that. Then we also look at the design phase on operations, the operations for your pre-listing appointments, your listing appointments, contract to close, all the different things that you do, and you do them repetitively. This is the thing that over time, I've just spent so much time with real estate agents, seeing what they do. And it's the same types of things. They're done a little bit differently, but it's the same categories of operational elements that you do. And it's important that we go through and we create systems for these. The retention side of this, we go through on the R of core. We look at the post-closing communications. There's nothing worse than spending hundreds of dollars to bring in a lead. You convert that lead, you close that lead, and then you forget that lead and you don't follow up with them over time, because within the next 5, 7, maybe 10 years, that lead is going to need another home at some point. And if they don't, maybe they're in a life cycle stage that doesn't need it, they probably have people that they do know that are in need of home changes, or the buying or selling processes that they need. Birthdays, anniversaries, monthly newsletters, all these are all things that help in retention, and we work through the systems that help you, guide you through that. And then the experiences. Now, experiences is a little bit different thing. It's kind of a catch-all for the things that you do both inside and outside of your business, but it can even deal with like client events that you have annually, semi-annually, quarterly. Maybe it's networking opportunities with some of your referral partners. So many agents set up and do pop buys, and why not have systems in place to be able to predictably get the materials you need, make sure that timing is right for each of the pop buys, and making sure that you've got the systems in place to be able to handle that. Even HR, you bring in new team members, and you want to set up reminders and things like that for your team members. That's all part of the experience of being associated with you. And those different types of systems need to be in place. And we definitely cover that. So who does this work for? Well, the single agent, definitely. Any agent that is just a single agent, you wear multiple hats. You wear lots of hats. And you actually have a little bit of a benefit, because each of the different steps that each phase needs to be done. You're the agent, you're the listing agent, you're the assistant, you're the listing coordinator, transaction coordinator. And if you know what each step does, it makes it easier to actually create those systems. If you're a husband-wife team, definitely this works for you. Small teams with assistants, even large teams. Anybody that is a real estate agent, even transaction coordinators, listing coordinators, those types of people can actually help guide you through and creating this very efficiently, very effectively. So let's just recap real quick. If you do anything more than once, definitely you need to systematize it. You need to do it unless you're not going to ever do it again, then in most cases you will. If you're going to do it again, definitely do it. And definitely use the core strategies as you're going through the process of creating these. Secret number two, many people talking about, well, once you systematize something, you need to automate it. And that's true. We need to automate it, but you need to automate it in a workflow platform, not just a standard CRM. And whenever we talk about CRMs, RealVolve has always been kind of classified as a CRM, but there's lots of other CRMs out there, databases, listing databases that help you track your listings and stuff. The problem is, in most cases, those systems that are set up aren't set up as a workflow process, but as just a holding ground for data. We've got lots of agents, Michael Thorne, Kendall Young, Mark Boylan. There's lots of names that I can throw out that have all used other systems. And most of them have found the same thing, that CRMs, the contact relationship management systems that are out there, just didn't work for them. And in most cases, it was because they used action plans or the task series that were a very linear process, a process that, maybe day one it did such and such, day two it did such and such, and based off of specific dates, those elements would start. And it was a very linear process, a very straightforward process, day one, day two, day three, whatever. The problem is it's hard to modify for special cases. If the date changes, it can be extremely problematic. How do you adjust your systems? And quite frankly, most things that you do as a real estate agent just are not linear in process. You have different things that branch off and do different things at different times. So it's important to have a workflow platform that actually helps you through those processes. So the systems that you create, you're going to see come in different elements other than just a linear time frame. Different things have to happen at different times. One of the kind of the success stories that we had was, many of you know or have heard of Kendall Young. She does a lot of things in the real estate industry. One night she calls me up and says, Mark, you're not going to believe what I've done with your workflows. I've used lots of other systems. She named them all off, and it just never did work for her. And I really didn't know Kendall at that time. She calls me out. It's like, who is this person? But she started showing me the things that she had developed using our workflow platform and how it has affected her business, making things so much more efficient, so much more effective. And it's really important that you find something like that. So she started looking at the things that was built into her business, her workflow, and she designed this very elaborate looking design of activities from the time they do the listing appointment, the marketing. At different points, it could get different results. For the listing appointment, you either get the appointment or you don't get the appointment. You get the listing, you don't get the listing. Maybe you get it. Maybe they just haven't made a decision to get it. And you go different paths based off of different decision points. And it's important for a workflow platform to be able to do this type of thing so that you can go through it. So the first step that you need to do is you actually need to get a workflow platform. And we'll show you how to get RealVolve. It's very easy to do. We'll actually give you a link for a 14-day trial. If you are not a RealVolve user, you can get the trial. If you are a RealVolve user, excellent, you're on the right track there. Then the step two on this is, once you get RealVolve, the workflow platform, then you turn your systems, all the stuff we did from secret number one, we turn those into workflows. Those systems are workflows. It's just a workflow is an automated system. So you can have systems. You could create a book of all your different procedures, all the different things that you do, and just put it into a book. And every time you get a new listing, you could start going down that list. The problem is it's not very scalable. Number one, only so many people can look at that book at a time. And as you go through that process, You want to be able to delegate things to different people at some point, and it's just really hard to do if you don't have something in place that's automated. Once you get everything in place, then it's a matter of running those workflows and repeating the process over and over again. So you're going to go through your core strategies, your lead conversions, and repeat and referral business. Make sure that all your conversions strategies are in place, have workflows in place. And then with that, as you run them, you're going to see where, hey, I can improve it in this way or that way. And once those improvements are made, you can then run it again. You're just doing a run and repeat. And this is kind of where we go from the design, the build, run, and repeat. This is one of the frameworks that we use to help real estate agents create systems in place to be able to do the things that they do regularly. So you do this for each of the different core elements: conversions, operations, retention, and experiences. What I want to do is show you a quick video. And in this video, it will show some of the things that our existing users actually do.
I am the only transaction manager that handled 265 transactions in 2020. Thank the Lord for RealVolve.
You can send out a text message and say, hey, this is what I'm going to do. And then you do the task. And then you have the reporting feature that sends them an email and says, hi, here's all the things that I did this week. And to have all of that automated for me was life-changing.
We're somewhere right around 95 closed transactions. We're probably going to triple this year.
Our memories are not exactly what they used to be, and there's a lot of times where we would just completely forget about something. But because I see something come up on my dashboard that reminds me to check on this, it helps all the time.
The benefit to RealVolve is it can be exactly the way you run your business, the way you care for your clients. If you're all front end and lead generation and lead conversion, you can have it exactly the way you want it. If you're all like us about that relationship 7 years after the transaction, it can be exactly what you want.
Most of it's just like an autopilot, and it's checklist and it's workflows, and it's, damn, it's done, man. It's automatically going out. It's automatically doing this.
I'm going to be between 60 and 80 this year. My ultimate goal would be to break that 100 mark.
It made it so that we could go from doing 35 or 45 transactions a year to 50 or 60 transactions and working the same amount of time.
It saves a massive amount of time.
I couldn't have done it without RealVolve or the workflows.
We love it.
Awesome.
I am the only transaction manager that
Go to the next one. There we go. So then you start thinking, and you may even say to me, Mark, hey, I'm not a techie. I know that, there's people out there that can do this. Kendall can do it. Lots of other people can do this, but I'm just not techie. It's not something for me. Well, thankfully, we also have what we call workflow packages, and workflow packages are actually built by other real estate agents that are actually professionals that have done the process of creating the systems and then turning those systems into workflows, into the automation pieces that they need. And this saves you time. If you don't have the processes in place, it will give you insight into what other agents actually do for their processes. And then you can even go in there and you can modify existing processes and make them your own, creating different messages, templates, the different messaging that you do so that it sounds like you. And that's important to do whenever you're going through the process. So just to recap the system side, CRMs are not workflow platforms. No matter how hard they try, they weren't designed that way. So you really need to look at a system that gives you the same elements of a CRM, the contact parts of it for contacts, properties, transactions, which we do, but are actually workflow platforms that guide those elements of contact listings and transactions through your processes and making sure that everything is automated. Linear action plans are just not flexible. You need something that's much more powerful for this industry that you do, as a real estate agent, you need to be able to do the things that you do on a regular basis, and it needs to be flexible enough to be able to do it the way you do. You need to set up the workflow platform. You can go in, you can use the workflow packages to help you if you don't have systems in place right now, but we can actually guide you through that as well. And then you use the design, build, run, repeat method for actually creating these, running them, and using them in your business. This then leads us to secret number 3, and delegate. So many people talk about, you need to automate, you need to create the systems, create automations, and then you delegate. And that is important. But the more important thing is you don't want to delegate a mess. You don't want to delegate a mess. And you may ask, well, what do you mean? It's important for you to be able to delegate by maybe the roles. If you have team members, each team member plays a certain role. And knowing what those roles are is important. Now, if you're an individual agent, maybe you don't have those other players with you. You can actually go through and build out your systems as if down the road you will get them, and you start understanding the things that they need to do. It becomes much easier to train your team members whenever you have these systems in place, because all the systems actually do the process for them. They just have to go through the steps as they come due, what we call just-in-time processes. When you need them, they're there, and making sure that if there's an activity that needs to be done today, that activity specifies what all needs to be done in a very systematic way. It makes it easier for them to go through. So just a kind of a look at how we got to this point. I saw what Peggy was doing. I saw what Kendall was doing. I saw what all these other agents were doing in their business. And we saw that they were busy. They needed help. And many of the agents, now Kendall wasn't one, but some of the other agents, their first thought was, hey, I need to hire some help. I need to get some help in here. So they go out and they hire someone to do a job. The problem is if they didn't have the systems in place, if they didn't have the automation in place, what are they doing? They're just adding stress to their lives. They're adding payroll, obviously, but that assistant doesn't know what to do yet. They don't know how you do your processes. Even if they have been an assistant or a listing coordinator, transaction coordinator for another agent, it may not be the way that you want to do the business. And if you don't have your systems in place and you're trying to delegate these things to these other people, you're just delegating a mess because things aren't in place. Just think if you were to set up that McDonald's franchise and you didn't have the systems in place and all you did was quickly hire a bunch of high school people, what kind of mess would you get as far as food? The burgers would not be the same. The French fries would not be cooked right. It's important to have the systems in place before you go and delegate, and that's just so critical. One of my favorite stories. A few years ago, we were talking to Christian Nossum from the Awesome Nossum team. Him and his wife were just starting in RealVolve, but they saw the potential. They saw what it was doing for other people, and they wanted to get their systems in place. They wanted to get the automation in place. So what Christian and his wife did is they went for a weekend, and they locked themselves up at a hotel, and they brought with them all the markers, all the whiteboards, all the things that they needed to do to get their business done. And over that weekend, I think it was a long weekend. I think they said it was kind of a long weekend. They went through the process of creating all the different systems for the conversions, for the operations, for the listing processes, for the closing processes, and what kind of service did they want to be able to give their customers. But the cool part of that is, and definitely that part is cool, but they needed to also hire an assistant. They hired an assistant that had no real estate experience, and she was fairly young, so she didn't have a whole lot of other experience from what I was told. But she used the workflow platform that we have in a way that made everything flow. She was able to take the entire process of being a brand new hire for Christian and his wife and go through the process of building their real estate business to a very successful real estate business because the systems were in place and they didn't have to have experience. It was like no experience required for this position. And that was what was so cool. So whenever we talk about the 3 different secrets, we talk about the systemize the things that you do to automate and delegate. We really need to think about the actual secret part of this is, if you do anything more than once, turn it into a system. If you need to do any kind of task, you probably need a workflow platform that gives you better decision making and being able to do something other than just a linear process. So you need a workflow platform, not just a CRM. I was on Clubhouse the other day, and in Clubhouse, they were having a discussion about virtual assistants, and 3 of the people that was on that call said the exact same thing. It was just crazy. Hey, I just hired a virtual assistant. What should I have them do? It's like, wow. Here you're dedicating a bunch of time to hire this person, the time it's going to take to train this person, and you don't even know what you want them to do. That's a shame. You need to have your systems in place. You need to automate those systems, and then you need to delegate, but only delegate once you've got the other 2 in place, and make sure you're not delegating a mess. So let me ask you a question. Is it okay if for the next 10 minutes, I'm actually wanting to give you a very special offer that I created just for this. I mean, this is one of our first webinars that we wanted to do this for, and it's something that I wanted to make it very special for you guys. Here's what I want to do is if you invest in yourself today, and it's something where we can help get you going. Obviously we don't have time to set up each of the core strategies in a webinar like this. And probably within an extended format, we can only do it in about 1 major strategy. What we want to do is take you through a 5-day challenge and get everything ready for the conversion part of the strategy, the C part of the core strategies. Go through conversion and actually show you the process of creating the core strategy for conversion. Once that's completed, you will have a working system that you can put in place to actually nurture your leads in a way that prevents that sway. We were talking about the Robin Hood effect of taking from one to give to the other. Many times, and I've seen this over and over again, where you've got leads coming in and you are working those leads and they start converting into signed contracts, listing agreements, buying agreements, whatever. And you start the process of listing properties or buying homes with those people, and you get busy in the operations side. As you're getting busy in the operations side, you're so busy that you kind of let your conversions side drop, and it doesn't do all the nurturing that it needs to. You need to be able to, spend time making calls with your conversion and sending emails and sending text messages to build up the new leads, but you don't have time to do that while you're also doing the operations side. And that's what causes this up and down effect, because if you let your conversions go down, your nurturing of your leads go down, then 60, 90 days out, you're now starting at 0 again. So now you're back and you don't have the business in place to be able to turn that into closings. So now you have to go back, start building up your leads again and start doing that. Well, you're not closing at that point. So that's where that time's coming from. What we want to do is help you get to a point in your conversion strategy so that it doesn't take time. you're doing all your conversions automatically through the systems that are in place, and it gives that world-class result to that buyer or seller that's coming into your processes, so that as they go through the process, they are reassured that you are giving them that world-class service. That's what we want to do in giving this. So what we want to do is get you going. And in order to do that, we have a 5-day, 1-hour training session. This is a live session. We're going to go through the process of this conversion, and it's totaled out. The total value on that's like $500, $100 a day. In that session, we're going to go through the live portion of this. We will design that world-class experience. We're going to build the workflow process. We're going to delegate, go through the process of delegating those processes to you and your team, and use that design, build, run, repeat to make improvements. So we're going to go through all that. All that is one big class. So we started thinking to ourselves, what are the other things that we need to have or provide to you to actually make you successful? So not only do we have the 1-hour daily training for $4.99, we also give you our daily action step documents. And these are 5 special documents that also contain detailed information on what we learned that given day, and extra recordings and extra content that will help you complete some homework elements that go along with this. Okay, that's a $300 value. We want to make sure that you get that. We'll go through the strategies, the daily action steps, the detailed processes each day, and the pre-recorded training that goes with each of the strategies that also talk about the tactics. As we started going through that, it's like, well, what else would they need? What are the other things that we could get? So not only did we get the 5 training sessions, we get the 5 action documents. We're also going to give you the lead generation funnel swipes. Now, for some of you that have websites and stuff, we think websites are fine, but there's actually some better ways, and you can use lead generation funnels. And what we want to do is provide those to you, so you can bring in your leads through specific funnels, and those funnels then help to bring in the right leads for you for the people that you're actually looking for. It's a $647 value, so that brings the total up to $1,445. In that lead generation swipe funnels, we'll talk about some strategies on how to use a lead funnel. We'll go through the tactic of the funnel itself with an actual call to action on each funnel, making sure that the confusion of a workflow or of a website is that there are so many elements of a website that people actually get lost on a website. And with a funnel, there's one call to action, and we'll go through that process. We've got some swipe files for easy installation and the integration that goes along with the workflow. So some great stuff there. So then we start thinking, well, what else do they need to be successful? We want to make sure that you are successful. So not only do we get the daily training for $4.99, the action steps for $2.99, the lead generation swipe files, $647. We're also going to throw in 19 days of follow-up workflow. Now, this is kind of like a pre-built workflow that you can then modify in your own system and make sure that it's what you would do to give your own world-class service. You could use this out of the box, but that's really no different than using it from another CRM. What we want to do is show you how to use this in a much better way to facilitate bringing those leads and following up with those leads as they come in. For $3.99, it's a great deal. That brings our total up to $1,844. So, getting a lot of stuff in there. The strategy on the workflow piece, 19 days. If you had looked at follow-up processes a couple years ago, it was taking 5-6 days to actually get in touch with somebody. Averages now are closer to that 17 to 19 days to actually get follow-ups to respond to you. And that's what we want to do. We've got some swipe files for easy installation, customization, all that's available. So we'll make sure that's available to you. So we started thinking, well, what else could they use to make sure that they are successful? So not only do you get the sessions, the documents, the swipe files for lead generation, the follow-up workflows, we're also going to include a membership site. And this membership site for $149 gives you all this content, all the access to this content, unlimited. So if it's in the middle of the night, during the day, whatever, you have access to this membership site, and we can provide extra content to you as you go along. So total value on this $19.93. There are replays, there's daily strategy sessions, replays, there's the access to each of the documents, there's Q&A sections for it, a lot of bonus material and videos that are just almost priceless in some cases. So it's really great material that you can have access to through that membership site. So once again, we start thinking, what else could we do to make this even better for you and make sure that you are successful? So with the daily sessions, the daily documents, the swipe files, the workflow, the membership site, we also wanted to include some bonuses. We have a buyer and seller workbook, and what this is content that you can use on your funnel pages to be able to draw in the buyers and the sellers, getting their emails so that you get leads and giving them quality content for them to be able to feel good about giving you their email. I mean, really, you're wanting to exchange something for an email address so you have a lead. Well, if they want buyer information, seller information, a lot of agents have these. We've got some really great content that you guys will have access to as a bonus for $2.99 on that. The workflow package swipe file. Now, we not only do we have the 19-day follow-up for the main class that we'll be going through, we also have a bonus workflow package that encompasses all the core elements, something that you can use within your business, not just for lead generation. So it's something that's extremely valuable, almost $1,500 in value. A lot of agents pay that and don't even think twice. It saves you hours and hours and hours of time to be able to use that. And then we do have some one-pager case studies. These case studies take information from some of our existing users and be able to take the details that they have and put them into what we call a one-pager, which is kind of a living document that allows you to type in extra information and be able to use that information within your business. So if we look at the total value in this, $38.90, $3,890 is a lot of money. And if we were to just look at it, on the face of it, we might think about, the cost of that. But, if all it did was prevent leads from falling through the cracks, when your lead volume is up, would it be worth $3,890? If you could keep that consistent lead coming in all the time and giving them that world-class service, would it be worth it? I think so. Would it give you the peace of mind? If all it did was give you the peace of mind that each new lead is given the same world-class service, even at the peak of your business season, would it be worth it? So whenever you're dealing with the operations and you're busy during the listing, the marketing, the closing processes, that your leads still are being nurtured properly and given that world-class service, would it be worth it? I think so. And finally, would it be worth it if we finally freed up the time from nurturing leads in order to spend quality time with those that we love, our family? Would it be worth it? And this goes back to, smelling the perfume on your clothes. This goes back to knowing that you're so busy because you're wanting to provide for the very people that you care so much for, but you don't have time to do that. Wouldn't it be worth the time to do that? the value that we're providing here with content and stuff. Now, I had two choices. I said, well, my first option would be basically I could charge that full price and work one-on-one with each of my clients. But the problem is I'd have a limited number of people that I could help. And for the past 31 years, it's been about just helping real estate agents. That's been my calling. I am a programmer. I am an engineer, but I'm a father. Got 4 great kids, got a wife. We like to spend time with each other, and agents are the same way. And I didn't want to just spend all my time with a few people. I wanted to be able to help lots of people. And in order to do that, my second option was really to offer a special option where we could work with multiple people and actually give resources to work with you. And some of it is you work on your own, but we work with you through that process. And could you see where this could be a good deal even at half the price at $19.90? From $39.80 to $19.90. For the general public, that's what it's going for. But the special I have for you today really comes down to getting all the challenge package, all the bonuses for a total of $38.90, but I'm going to give it to you for $397 today. To do that, all you have to do is go to www.workflowsecrets.info. It's not .com, it's .info/challenge. www.workflowsecrets.info/challenge. And you have two choices. Now, obviously, first choice, you can do nothing. You can continue to ride that roller coaster of stress and fluctuating commissions. And I don't want that for you. I really don't. I want to be able to help you with that process so that the stress of getting things done so that you can help your buyers, your sellers, get all that done and get that commission coming in. But more importantly, I want to make sure that you can get that done in a timely manner so that you can be spending time with your family. That's what it's all about. Your second choice is to join us on the challenge. Get that lead nurture system in place to scale your business and to reduce the stress and increase the peace of mind and increase the time that you have with your family. So to get started, go to www.workflowsecrets.info/challenge. Now, I know many of you are on different systems, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube or some of the other links that we've got for people watching this. Go to the website, click on the workflowsecrets.info/challenge and get signed up. What I want to do is one more special thing. Now, I can only do so much, but in addition to what you're going to get with the 5-day training sessions for $4.99, the documents for $2.99, the lead generation swipe files, $647, the 19 days of follow-up workflows, $399 value, the membership side, $149, the buyer and seller workbooks, the workflow packages, the one-pagers, all totaling at the $38.90 for $397 for the first 10 people in the next 30 minutes. I because I value my time with my own family, I can only do this for a certain number of people. I will be adding a 1-hour-long one-on-one strategy session with me. Now, I have helped and strategized with thousands of agents. And this is the one thing I love doing the most because I get to hear from you. What are your challenges? What are the things that you're struggling with most? And what are the things that I can do to help you? We actually come up and formulate a plan of the things that you can be doing in your business right now to be able to increase your efficiency, increase productivity, and make the processes that you do much more fun. I'm going to say it that way, just making them fun so that you can get them done. So to get started, again, we got a little bit of a countdown here. It's 4 o'clock until 4:30 Central Time. If you're in a different time zone, definitely before the 30-minute mark, sign up, www.workflowsecrets.info/challenge. We will be sending you information on the challenge itself, the 5-day challenge, and how to get the content and materials and get you all set up for that. We'll get that out to you. So get started now. Challenge package plus the bonuses, the total value on this, $3,890. Go to workflowsecrets.info/challenge for $397 today. And I'm just going to leave up. Let me come back over here to this side just to see, let you know what everything is you guys are getting. Just I'm excited for you guys. Really, I am. I know that this helps many of the agents that we've had go through this process with us, and many of you that need this so badly so that you can be spending more time with your family. And again, that's what it's all about for me anyway. I want to help you with that. If you've got other things that you want to do besides family, great. If you want to spend more time on the golf course, on tennis, on, getting beers with a buddy or whatever, that's fine. But it's a matter of making sure that precious time, whatever that precious time is for you, that you get to spend it and not spend so much time at the office doing the things that you do on a daily basis. That's so repetitive, so mundane, and so not needed in your life, quite honestly. So you've got to get the things done, but we can help you do them much more efficient, much better. So, all right, guys, you've got until 4:30 Central Time. And to sign up, go to www.workflowsecrets.info/challenge. Hope everybody has a great time for the rest of the week. And if there's anything that I can do, answer whatever, you can definitely send me an email, mark@workflowsecrets.info. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you.